The NPO FoodForward SA has now launched its mother and child nutrition program. In South Africa, it's understood that more than 27% of children under the age of 5 are stunted because of a lack of proper nutrition. Let's speak about this now with Andy du Plessis, Managing Director at FoodForward SA. Andy, good evening. Welcome to the program. So how exactly are you going to roll this out and what will it entail?
Hi, Mbekile. Thank you very much for having us. So absolutely, we want to make sure that children under the age of 5 years and at least in that first 1,000 days get the proper nutrition they need, which is not the case. So we've partnered with other local non-profit organizations, but that specifically focus on malnutrition in children as well as pregnant and nursing mothers across the country. So we are working with organizations across the Western Cape and in the Eastern Cape, which are presenting high cases of malnutrition presently. And what we will do is, while the nonprofit that's focusing on malnutrition, they will also identify those homes where food insecurity is the primary cause of malnutrition. And we will make sure that not only the child or that mother or nursing mother gets a food parcel, a nutritious food parcel, but we will also make sure that those children are monitored regularly so that they can grow and that they can exit out of malnutrition. And that's where FoodForward SA is playing the linkage between those that are assisting in malnutrition, and we are providing the food necessary to make sure those children grow and that those pregnant and nursing mothers exit malnutrition.
And just on that then, you've mentioned the importance of proper nutrition for children, especially in the first 1,000 days of life. So for an organization such as yourself, when do you identify them? Do you step in at birth or somewhere along the timeline within that time frame of 1,000 days?
Yeah. So our partner in the Western Cape and in the Eastern Cape is Plessis Nutrition Center, and they focus specifically on addressing malnutrition. So they've got 250 what they call mentor mothers that go into communities, underserved communities, and with a scale, and they actually weigh children and they weigh pregnant and nursing mothers. So if that mother has been identified as underweight for wherever she is in that stage of pregnancy or when she's nursing a child, they immediately are put onto the nutrition program, and they immediately get a food parcel from FoodForward SA delivered door to door to them. So that first 1,000 days, if we identify those children early enough, that whole family, including the child, will get a food parcel where food insecurity is the main driver of malnutrition.
And how many of these people would you be able to reach in the infancy of your program?
So in the initial pilot phase, we are looking targeting 500 households across the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape, and that program will grow as more partners come on board. We already have quite a number of our food donors that have come on board, including One Farm Share, RCL, Denon, and Kellogg's, and other partners are imminent. And so the idea is that as more and more children and women become identified as suffering from malnutrition, we will make sure that program grows nationally across the country.
And just on the issue of malnutrition, important to note that it's not just about hunger, because even if you have food, if you're not eating the right things, you can still be in that category.
Absolutely, and that's the main point that you make, Mbekile, that in South Africa, roughly 50% of our people live below the upper bound poverty line of 1,417 rand, and 25% of that live below the food poverty line of just 600 rand. So to be able to afford a healthy meal every day for a family of four for a month, you need between 3,500 and 4,500 rand. And so we can see that healthy food is just outside of the ambit of poor people. And we want to make sure that those that are falling through the cracks, where they're not getting the proper nutrition that they need up until the age of 5 years, we want to make sure that we change that nutritional status, because after 5 years, you can't make a difference there. So we want to make sure we impact those children's nutritional status from birth up until the age of 5 years.
Andy, good to speak to you. That was Andy du Plessis.